done.
Still in control, no overwhelming feelings of rage.
No, a normal amount of rage.
You do revert back to Gen form when you sleep.
Was the air horn really necessary?
For God.
Welcome everybody. We are back a little later than I would have liked to, but we are back to give you our thoughts on Marvel She-Hulk Attorney at Law, episode 2. With me to do this as always is Roy. Welcome, Roy.
Good to be here.
How did you feel about episode 2? Because we were very meh on episode 1, so episode 2.
I think it's a pretty steady improvement.
Okay.
It's not like say it's like, oh my God, life-changingly good, but like
right.
It's better than the first episode.
Right.
And
which is what you want.
Yeah. I mean, look, we're back in the school year. You want steady progress. What more can you ask for?
Right. My initial reaction after seeing this episode, again, I'm with you. It was better than episode 1. But my initial reaction after seeing this episode was, dang, should I go watch The Incredible Hulk? Because it was the conversation between her and Blonsky, and the way he framed what happened to him. I was like, yeah, I should probably if that's how it really went. Like, this is to be honest, so which is an improvement for me, is because this is the first Marvel show where I felt like I should go watch the connecting movie, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I haven't seen The Incredible Hulk in close to 20 years. I mean, probably worth watching.
Right. Especially with what happened or how he framed that, which I don't think it's how it went, but I was curious enough to feel like, damn, I should go rewatch it. What were your initial thoughts of this episode?
I felt there was a pretty good bridge from where they left the previous episode. Mm-hmm. And I think it did a good job, of sort of setting up what the central tension of Jen is going to be, right? It's this like the lawyer material combined with the superhero material. I think you kind of got what the themes are, and it built on some of the themes, right? Right. I think one of the themes of this is like a superhero-y version of like professional women's struggles, mm-hmm. right? Like you get that when she is only, her boss makes her have to be She-Hulk.
She-Hulk
like
at work.
in the
and in the court, yeah.
And in court, and then and then she's like, well, men don't get treated that this way, and it makes me look, even though I'm qualified, makes it look like the only reason I'm getting this is because of my looks or because of who my cousin is. These like kind of like pretty, I think, real things that are put through this kind of absurdist lens. And I thought, that's like, okay, that's pretty solid thematic material. And then the Tim Roth sequence was just like pure gold. I think
it was the best part of the episode.
Yeah, I was just like, I hope we get more Tim Roth, because Tim Roth was the right kind of hammy in this, like the haiku stuff, the seven like loves. It's just like, okay, like this is some good
I was like, is he gonna start a cult? Is that
I hope so.
Right. Yo, honestly, it would be amazing spin-off show Tim Roth cult. I'm sorry, Emil Blonsky's cult. I'm
just gonna call him Tim Roth because it's like, it just felt
right.
I was like, oh, okay, they're just letting Tim Roth just kind of like
Tim Roth
do his thing. Like, the funny thing to excuse his accent is he's Russian-born, British raised, and it's just like, I love it. It's like so corny. It's like,
because that's another thing that had me curious. Like, should I go watch? Like, did he when he spoke? Right.
I thought he did a terrible accent in the Incredible Hulk movie.
I think it's worth a rewatch just for this.
It's on Plus.
The next two She-Hulk episodes. This one, and I think this episode 2, or maybe episode 3, right? So yes, I'm with you, and I'm like, I'm getting a lot more law, and then it's the law with the mix of superheroes. So we're gonna get a smidge of Ally McBeal.
Oh yeah,
yes. So I actually do want Marvel to settle into a thing, right? So with Captain America and the Winter Soldier, not the TV show, the movie. What's it? No, Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
The Winter Soldier, not Falcon and Winter Soldier / Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Yeah.
Right. So Captain America, the Winter Soldier was a spy flick, right, with superheroes and like government mixed into it. So I think honestly, I kind of want to see Marvel like tackle like. I mean, I think they've done it in the comics, but I want to see the MCU do okay. Because even when we were talking last week, right? It wasn't like Daredevil was like a law. It was like the first maybe 4 episodes of season 1 was all of the
And a
law
little bit of
stuff.
season 2,
Right?
a little, and then season 3 like
It was just
was
fights
just
from
was
start to finish.
fights, and then like long, like, oh my god, am I watching like the world's slowest episode of Breaking Bad? Like, I'm sorry. I say this is like I enjoyed the 3rd season, but it was definitely the most pretentious season of Daredevil.
Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like I kind of want to see Marvel tackle stuff like that. Like,
Well,
just
I
this
think.
is the show. And go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. I think this is actually something a friend of mine just messaged. Just like I think they're hitting the Ally McBeal tone. Like we were having a debate in the chat today about like, is this show funny?
That was the next thing I wanted to talk
And
about. Like, it's because this is also, it's also like, I think in the description for the show, it's comedy, superhero. It's in a few genres, right? It's intelligent. I'll say that. It makes jokes. It's like, it's not like knee slappers. Like, oh my god, I'm falling
yeah,
on the
you're
floor
not gonna
laughing. But
cry laughing.
yes, but there are jokes that I'm like, that was a good one. You know,
Yeah.
that was a good joke. The scenes I didn't like. The family dinner scene. I didn't much
You
care
didn't like
for it.
that?
I didn't. How conversely the post credits family dinner scene. Love that stuff.
Well, it was very realistic, right? What would you do if your daughter was the She-Hulk?
So, yeah. Now that I loved. The actual one in the show, I didn't really care for. Not that I didn't like it, I just didn't care for it. Like, I felt like cut that out, give me more Tim Roth.
I mean, that's fair. And maybe I would have said like cut it out and give me more like lawyer stuff, like not just Tim Roth, but like more stuff in the law firm. Like I thought it was good at sort of establishing who Jen was, and like I like the scene with her dad, where he's like, because it felt very like authentic, right?
Yes. Okay. Like, how are you doing? Like,
how are you doing? Like, what? Yeah, like I'm gonna pull you out of this horrific family situation to see how you're actually doing.
Right. Because I mean that the comparison with the brother cousin, that was hilarious.
That was very funny. Promoted and a supervisor
and a supervisor and employed.
It was very good. That struck. I mean, like passive aggressive. Like I come from a very passive aggressive family, particularly when they feel your failures. So I definitely felt that energy. Okay, I felt that energy for Jen as a
relatable, right?
Sometimes failure. So go back. I want to talk a little bit back to like humor, right? And Ally McBeal. Like I think this show is very much just Marvel Ally McBeal. Like I watched a lot of Ally McBeal when it was airing, and that show was funny, but no one ever accused that like that show was not.
It wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't like rolling on the floor. It wasn't The Office. It wasn't not The Office. Is not everybody's.
Community. Pick whatever you want, right? Like,
right.
Parks and Recreation. Like just pick the funniest American sitcom you can think of. No one is ever going to accuse Ally McBeal being that funny, but it was completely clever,
right?
And it was hammy.
Right.
And very like broad, and I think that's kind of the tone. And I think they really, in many ways, some of this does feel like a love letter to like female-driven like drama comedies. Like Murphy Brown's another example of this. Like Murphy Brown is way better than She-Hulk, way better than Ally McBeal as like a show and art, right? But it has a similar tone where like no one was like the funniest show ever aired was Murphy Brown. But it was funny, and it did like have these like very like women in the workplace driven comedies. Right? I think it's definitely capturing like that tone here that I think it's like a good like love letter to that type of storytelling.
Correct. One thing I think we discussed last week was when will Bruce return or Mark Ruffalo return? And I think the guess was, oh, he's probably gonna come back at the end and then have to leave, and you're the hero now. After watching this episode, are we still there?
That's literally this episode, though. He was kind of like short of saying like you're the Hulk now. He was like, I just want to say I think they really leveraged the Hulk well in this episode. Like I thought that the phone call between the two of them was very fun. That was actually one of the more
yes, that was
very
also
funny
a haha
things.
moment. Yes,
Like
that
I'm
was
a
a
different
funny moment.
person now was
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, he wrote me a haiku. I'm like,
We had a nice moment.
it was. And so are we still? Is he coming back before
I
the
think
show
he
is
might come
over?
back at the end, but I don't know. I would say he comes back at the very end.
Okay, because I
He
mean
come
he's
back
still
for free.
listed on IMDb for what 9 episodes. I
Yeah,
mean,
he's not going to be a 9. We decided, right? Like, didn't it already prove
yes.
itself wrong that it said Abomination was going to be in 9 episodes? He's not in the first one,
He wasn't in the
right?
first
Like,
one, right?
like, no Wong. We haven't got. We've got.
It's corrected though. Now it's 8.
Oh, sure, okay. IMDb, like
Right.
my
No,
wife
it's
when I'm
8.
watching TV shows likes to read off like the trivia of the show that we're watching from
Uh-huh.
IMDb, and it's things like frequently someone is murdered on this show. It's like yes, it's a murder mystery.
It's a murder mystery.
It's
Oh my god.
like
Oh
that's the
man.
level of insight you get. So.
Right. What did we think of Pug?
He was not in the episode enough to for me to have an
Care?
opinion. Same
Right.
with she looks like BFF. Like
Right. She
they're
should
kind of
be
like non-entities.
right. And that's okay. That's the only thing that's the only thing I'm like, I don't necessarily like, but I'm thinking, she's gonna be in it. She's the BFF, so she has to be in it, right?
Which I think
and
she's actually the only person. Like she got a poster in the launch.
huh?
So like when Disney was like releasing character, you know how they do that
Character posters, yeah.
character posters, and they do like 4 at the beginning of the show, and then as new characters come, they do them. Like she was one of them. It was like Jen, Bruce, the best friend, and then one other person. Maybe might have been may have been Tatiana. It might have been. It definitely wasn't Daredevil, who's still technically not been announced as being in the
7
show.
episodes. That's what IMDb says.
Oh yeah, sure.
He's on here with 7 episodes.
I'm gonna go on and say 2.5 episodes he's gonna be in.
Oh, I think. You know what? I think there's a Law episode and then there's a Daredevil episode. I don't think they do both. I think he comes in as he will come in as Matt for like 1 episode, right? Matt for 1 episode, and then he'll come in at the end of the show as Daredevil. Like that flip we see in the trailer, that's gonna happen at the end of the show.
My guess is he shows up at the end of an episode as Daredevil. He shows up as Matt in the next episode. And then there's an episode where they team up. And they're opponents in that episode, and then they team up in the next one, and then he leaves.
So
that would be my guess. So 2.5 episodes.
2.5. Interesting. Okay. I'm still 1-1 on that. I'm still saying 1 episode is Matt, and he's not halving. That actually is smart. I hate it. That is so smart because he could really win. No, I'm not changing my mind. 2 episodes.
We'll find out. It's gonna be fun.
Matt and Daredevil episode, and that's it. So she lost a job, obviously, because of what happened at the end of first episode. She gets fired, which I thought was very unfair. But it's a spectacle. You're the DA's office after you save the jury.
the way it was framed was pretty funny. It's like
it was because it wasn't the worst thing ever, right? The boss comes and says, "I want to talk to you, like have a serious conversation with you." You can still talk to me as She-Hulk, but why couldn't he talk to her as She-Hulk, right? Just hey. And okay, another thing I noticed is on the show they have her wearing like baggy clothes. Everything she wears is baggy. I don't know if that was her style before, or that could have been no.
Was it her style before? I don't think so. I think it's the way they're explaining her clothes, like her
ability to still fit into clothes, right? Yeah, because it wasn't, because the first episode, if the first episode was pre-Hulk, right? The first episode was pre-Hulk and pre her showing the world she was She-Hulk. Her outfit when she was in court was a little more snug than what she wore on her first day of work. So I'm thinking everything she has now is newer.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, this is one of those things that it's best not to spend too much time puzzling over, because Her clothing is gonna rip when it's funny or useful to the plot, and her clothing is just gonna perfectly transform when you don't need to care. Like it's same with Bruce.
When it ripped in the court, it was hilarious. When she had to put it back up and go, and when when she had to put it back up at the end of the episode, I thought that was funny.
Did you catch why Tatiana went nuts? That actually made me laugh really loud.
What? Because she was escaping the traffic
court. I was like, that's a really good joke. Like, that's just like
because
this influencer, this superhero
is trash, right? Like,
superhero influencer loses
spent
it
all day there just to yes. Next, I think this is the other question or other big question. No, I have two more questions. The one is that the MCU's version of the Raft?
I think it is. Well, because there was the Raft that showed up in Civil War, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they mentioned a couple people have gone to the Raft, but then that looked a little bit like the facility that's in Best Not Spoken Of, Easiest to Escape in the World facility from Miss Marvel.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, maybe this is but they've also what the super prison in Marvel is unclear, because they also talked about in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which who knows if that's continuity or not. Right. Open a whole debate here, but they said that that Abomination was frozen. That's literally a plot point in a couple episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So who knows?
Right, it's a lot. It's I think again I might have to watch something or just probably play with the Googles and find out. But the other question, I think this is the other question. People are still gonna ask this question. What do you think about the CG in this episode?
It was a little wonky. But
I think it'll get better. I think it'll progressively get better. I just think I don't think it's movie Hulk quality. No, because I think that's a lot of money, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to actually find out the budget for this show, but I don't think it was as bad as say episode 1.
Well, episode 1 was okay.
Episode 1 wasn't even that bad because again, when you hear the sequencing of the episodes, that was supposed to be 4 or 5,
even later, maybe even 7 or something. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's probably something they worked on that wasn't going to come out. Right. And this is an episode that it's so yeah, I think it's going to get better. I
mean, I think it can only get better to a certain point, though.
If the boss is asking her to walk around in She-Hulk, that means they're going to have to put more attention into the CG, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think after the first appearance, I think it's getting this. If you want to say this is her first appearance, right, outside of what happened with Tatiana, I think it's gonna improve.
I mean, I think it's fine. It just is
you can tell.
I mean, you can tell, but I mean, I don't know. What do you expect from a TV show?
Exactly.
And I mean, it's definitely better than if we compare it to CW, right?
Come on,
come on. But that's another thing to compare.
That's not. I would.
All right. Is there another? I mean, this. Okay, let's think about this right now. Actually,
think about a HBO.
Is there another
HBO Max show? Let's do a
HBO Max show. So the CGI is better than the dragons sometimes in Game of Thrones.
Yes,
but also worse than the dragons in Game of Thrones sometimes. It's about Game of Thrones level CGI.
Yes,
I mean, if that's where sometimes it's
not House of Dragon though, because House of Dragon was.
I mean, House of Dragons has a little wonky dragon CG too.
Mm-hmm.
The burning scene,
was
a little wonky.
Right.
If you want to complain about the CG, you can complain about the CG. Right.
I don't think it's worth.
This is an Avatar. Where you can complain about a lot of things with Avatar, but you cannot complain about the CG, right?
Yeah, so, and I don't think, honestly, it's that bad enough to complain about. I just wanted to ask because this is something I'm pretty sure that the fanboys are.
The fanboys are whining endlessly.
Exactly. So I just wanted to know. It wasn't bad to me. Ultimately, episode 2 of She-Hulk, I liked. Again, it's an improvement. And I think there are certain things in this episode that made it great for me. Exploring the theme of her. I can't call it nepotism, right? I can't call it nepotism because she's not getting jobs because her cousin is the Hulk. It's more so, and he's not the one getting her the jobs. It's more so like, now that she's She-Hulk, she's getting a job that she probably wouldn't have gotten,
Otherwise, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a privilege.
It's about
they're exploring privileges. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean they are exploring privilege. I think it's true. Like Jen specifically is like, I think, I mean, it might be something that's a little bit more subtle, but they're definitely trying to play around with like, where is Jen privileged and where is she not? Like there's definitely times in this story that she is not privileged, right? And they call attention to that. Now, did they cause? I think they're asking you more to like, that's like, point A. Jen is, discriminated against because she's a woman, because, She-Hulk is hot, which is a classic like She-Hulk thing, right?
Trope,
of like
yes.
the trope. Is it like Jen or is it like hot Hulk, right? And then the sort of point B that's more by implication is, well, Jen is also like the cousin of the Hulk,
right?
Like and hot,
and by extension, a superhero,
and by extension, superhero and a hot superhero, and that's its own like privilege, right? That's getting her things. So there's this like double-sided tension. And one,
she was getting free drinks.
Yeah.
So it's actually very amazing to talk about because, okay, so the one other part about the family thing that I liked was her aunt said to her, "We should make your hair more like She-Hulk's," and I wanted to punch her.
Yeah, it was bad.
That was relatable to me. Maybe because I've heard it. I don't know if you've heard any, not necessarily like that to that extent, but something to the yeah. And so I was like, how actually grabbed her hair and said it like, "Oh, your curls," and why would you ever do that? But yes, that is something that I felt was pretty cool about the episode. Again, I want to see more of. This is what I want to see. I want to see more court stuff. Like actually, I want the Abomination story to actually. Do you think? Okay, the question is, do you think they're gonna finish out that story, or it's gonna be something they play around with?
I think that we're gonna get a concrete answer by the end of the show. I bet Abomination is gonna be like a sub theme for the rest of the season. Like, because we know we're getting like a Wong. Like Wong has something to do with Abomination, but there's also just like other sorcerer shit in the trailer that has nothing to do with Abomination, right?
Okay.
So like we knew that there's something Doctor Strange / Wong coming, right? Like from the trailer. And then there's whatever Matt is involved in.
Right.
So we know that there's like 2 other main cases, and Matt could be involved in Abomination stuff, but I wouldn't think so, right? I mean, maybe he was representing New York, and New York is like, no, this man should not be in jail.
Because he crushed Harlem. Yes.
Yeah, like that could be it. But like, I would bet there's another case that Matt is involved in. And so I think the fate of Abomination will be known, like at the end of the season.
Question now: do you think Abomination gets resolved and then everybody? Do you think everyone gets their own like couple of episodes, or it's all gonna be in one? Like it's one of those stories where it's layered.
I think it's for some of them. I think Wong gets like his 2 episodes, and maybe there's some Abomination stuff in that, and then Matt gets his 2 episodes, and there's maybe some Abomination stuff in that, and then Abomination, and then maybe the Tatiana stuff comes back. Or Tatiana stuff, I can never say her name. And then we get Abomination stuff. But at the end of the season, like Abomination is set up to never be seen again. Maybe he does retire with his 7 hot girlfriends and is never heard from again. Or he's set up to be in Thunderbolts in 2 years. Right. Whatever they decide they're gonna do with that character.
So whatever happens, he's gonna get resolved. You think he gets resolved at the end of the episode and not
right now?
Real quick. Okay. Well, I do. If that's the case, I enjoyed seeing Tim Roth, and I actually do want more of Tim Roth. So, and then I want more court stuff. I actually want I want a court episode so bad, right?
We're gonna get at least one. Like, there's gonna be at least one.
Right. Wait, did Ben Affleck have a court scene
in Daredevil?
Yeah.
I have no idea. That is truly something I've forgotten. I remember more of Edward Norton as the Hulk than I remember
Oh
of Ben
man,
Affleck as Daredevil. Is that
It's so
movie even
funny.
available anywhere? Can you even like watch that movie?
It was on Hulu because it was a
Maybe.
Fox. Was it Fox? It was Fox.
I think it was Fox. Yeah.
It's probably on Disney Plus.
Is it on? I don't think it's on Disney.
Why would it be on Disney Plus?
I don't think it's on Disney Plus. I think they don't want you confused with the good Daredevil show that they got back from Netflix.
Oh man, it's probably on Netflix then. It's not, but
Watch it be on like HBO Max because HBO Max has some wonky. Has HBO Max has more Marvel material
Max,
than Sesame Street episodes.
Yeah,
that's a joke.
Man, they took a lot of Fox material. Yeah, I mean, did we miss anything?
I don't think so.
Oh, did the episode feel short or is it short?
It felt short, but I felt like it had a natural endpoint. Like I think that the like twist that the information, the stuff from Shang-Chi is out there is like.
Now, do you think her boss knew and didn't tell her, or he just found out?
I mean, I think he just found out. I don't think he's like trying to manipulate her in that way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously Tim Roth was trying to manipulate her.
Right.
And then like I'm gonna be interested to see like how Wong explains himself like in this situation, because we are gonna we're in phase Wong, and so like I'm quite interested of what like
Wong is funny,
where Wong comes from in this, right?
And what so I think I think he'll have just because he is the Sorcerer Supreme, and so there's a lot of implications for him to be everywhere. If there was one character that would be in almost everybody's story, it would be the Sorcerer Supreme. And yes, I'm interested. He was in Spider-Man.
When Wong wasn't snapped, right?
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't,
because he wasn't, and that's how he became Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah,
amazing.
So if there's any character like who can connect all of the weird parts of Phase 4, it is Wong.
Yes, because
he's on like both sides of the storyline.
Right.
So was Jen snapped? Was that I
don't think it's something they've talked about. I don't think it's something we know right now. I have to go back and revisit episode 1, or maybe they'll talk about it, because it's funny. Every Marvel show has talked about the snap,
at least a little bit. This one,
right?
The blip. Kamala was not snapped, right?
Wow.
I can't. So
I don't remember. Did they didn't even talk about? Did they talk about the blip?
They talked about it a little bit, like briefly. They made some jokes about it, which is usually the far from home approach to the blip, which is to make jokes. Because
that's what kids do. That's how kids deal with
like as like Falcon the Winter Soldier like kind of like shows you, though, like the more you think about the blip and its consequences, the more fucking nuts it is.
Yes.
And like you can't really like game out how horrific it would be for 50% of all life to disappear, and then 5 years later for it all to come back, right? So to make it I know a lot of people are like, oh man, Far From Home is so bad because it turned it into a joke. It's like you have to, you really have to.
It's one way to deal with it. You're correct. It's one way to deal with it. Like, if what are you gonna be super sad and mopey all day? Like, Falcon and Winter Soldier, you had terrorists because of the blip. That's bleak.
I mean, it's realistic. Like,
it's bleak.
Yeah, it's like, do you sometimes people are like, I want this. It's like, do you really want this?
No,
like,
you don't.
You really want this?
Like,
or do you want the funny ass Martin Starr bit about his wife pretending to get snapped to leave him, which I think is like in Far From Home. Like, Martin Starr is my favorite supporting character in the Spider-Man new trilogy. Like, him as the teacher is just so.
It's amazing. Yes,
it's amazing.
Yeah,
and I had that. I felt that energy when I took the kids to NYC. I was like, I am Martin Starr.
You are Martin Starr. You should take him to the Needle the pencil in DC to really, really feel like.
Well, I mean, we could. We are going to the mall this year. So
just
'cause
hopefully nobody attacks it. Just having.
We're going to both the African American History Museum and the Museum of the American Indian this year, so we'll be down there.
Detour to the pencil.
You mean like, the joke I always make? Oh, it's the monument from Spider-Man, and everyone's always like, "Oh my god, that's like the worst joke ever." And I was like, "Yep, this is the monument. It's that monument from Spider-Man."
It is. It's not the DC. It's not the DC monument anymore. It's the it's Spider-Man has made it his thing. Like, has the monument ever been in any famous movies? No, right?
Like just in the background, I think it might be like they blow up. No, because they always go to the White House.
Yes,
right?
every time aliens come, it's the White House. Or never the Capitol building, the White House. I think the show Designated for Survivor did the Capitol building. This is the first. I think I might have to research it, but this is the first time I've seen the monument be a character in a movie. So it's a sign. You know how many times the Empire State Building or the Statue of Liberty or listen.
I also like I would just absolutely have loved to be in the writer's room when that guy from Bones who wrote the screenplay was sitting with his friend and like, all right. So Spider-Man, this iconic New York City superhero, Disney gets him back. Where do we want to do like one of the big set pieces? All right, we're going to do, I mean, obviously, all right, Coney Island. Oh yeah, A+ boys. Okay. The Staten Island Ferry. Ooh, that's an obscure one, but still very New York. We need a third set piece. Well, why don't we set it in Washington, D.C.?
You don't even have the buildings for it.
Spider-Man, yeah, like Spider-Man, DC is the least Spider-Man friendly city in the world. Like, there's no beautiful.
They made it work. They made it work.
They did.
They made it work.
But Peter's riding on buses. He's not swinging between buildings in DC. It's still not okay. Last DC jokes, but have you ever seen the Die Hard movie that's set in Washington D.C.? It's Die Hard 4, I think, the one with Mary Elizabeth Winstead played his daughter.
No.
Okay, it's the one after there's the Sam Jackson one that like kind of ends the original ones. Okay, and then they came back and made the very right wing Die Hard ones.
Oh man, I don't remember. I might have to do that.
You have to watch it because it's set in Washington D.C. and you're from Baltimore, right, Mo? Right?
Yeah. And
you know DC well, right? And Baltimore's similar, right? Baltimore has some tall buildings.
House of Cards was filmed in Baltimore,
pretending to be DC.
And yes.
That's not the worst place to do impression because Baltimore has some tall buildings, but DC has zero. Like DC that's the thing about DC, zero.
And I don't know if it's because certain states have like a building code, like a tall building.
DC has a building code. DC.
Oh, okay, great. Because I literally just learned that when I went to Miami. And I was like, why are there no tall buildings? And someone was like, yeah, it has there's a building height code and you can't build over this height.
I mean, Philly, that's why a lot of Philly has some tall buildings, but not as many as other cities because it used to have like a really strict one.
Oh,
and it doesn't anymore, right? But so in that Die Hard movie, Bruce Willis is in a skyscraper and bursts out of it and like comes down from a sky. We're talking about like Los Angeles, New York City, Toronto style skyscraper, Seattle, and does this huge action sequence in this giant skyscraper in Washington D.C. And it's still like because it was filmed in Toronto, like that's an important.
Okay.
But it's just like
that's another DC. That's another DC city.
I have to watch it. Well, you have to watch it. I
have to watch it. Die Hard 4. Gotcha.
Die Hard 4.
So yeah, She-Hulk. Back to She-Hulk.
I derailed us for our time today.
It happens. There's never a show that we do. I think at this point it's just a thing. It's just us. We talk about Game of Thrones and end up talking about Lord of the Rings, which is coming.
To be fair, that is somewhat connected. That's right? More than DC movies. Anyway,
talk about DC movies, but crap. Back to She-Hulk. So the whole Banner is seemingly gone.
Mhm.
So if this is what I think, right? I think where Planet Hulk is still a mystery, right? There's no solid.
We don't know. Yeah, we don't know why he's on the ship from. How do you say that planet's name?
Sakaar.
Sakaar.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, I don't know. We don't know why he's on the ship.
Right. So here's my thought on that, right? I think what's gonna happen, like he's gonna come back, right? And I think when he comes back, he's gonna be different. But I think what happens on the ship is probably gonna be what Planet Hulk is about. Like what happens with the ship and him going, that space is gonna be his movie, and then he's gonna come back at the end with She-Hulk, and they're gonna do something together.
I mean, it could come like we could get a situation where like we do not see Bruce again until the end credits of She-Hulk, and then we see
whatever he's dealing with,
or he comes back and he's Rage Hulk now. Like Jen's like so happy to Bruce, or like the ship lands, and she's like, Bruce, it's so good to see you, and he's like, like like who knows,
right.
I think we are gonna see Bruce at least one more time.
Okay.
Because I think we're gonna get a clearer sense.
But I mean, has 9. IMDb has him listed at 9.
Yeah, we know that's not happening. But because interviews that the showrunner did with this episode is they said basically one of the reasons why they wrote Bruce off here was because they didn't want him eating all the oxygen of the show.
Correct.
Constantly asking.
I respect that. Because he does. I feel like he did the entire first episode was almost about him. This episode, even when he wasn't on screen, he was still the and then when he was on screen, it was pretty much him. Even though it was a phone call, but I think they tried to show it on her end a lot more, but you just know like the Hulk is back there somewhere.
Well,
so
we got a plot summary of the Incredible Hulk,
which I think is Blonsky is an idiot because he said because now I think about it, the reason how he became Abomination, right, was because yes, he was hired to take on the Hulk to get Banner, whatever, and he kind of went over the top and thought he could fight the Hulk. And got punched into a tree and got mangled. So he wasn't. So he's playing it like he was tricked, or it was against his. It wasn't
his idea.
Yeah, I think it was right. I'm trying to think. I haven't seen that movie in so long because did he go by the doctor to get the serum, or did the doctor just say, hey, if you want any good quality of life, you have to do this?
I think he was kind of like gung-ho about it, if I remember right. But I honestly...
Yeah, like, I think, again, that's the first time. I feel like that's the first time we've ever... Because we've done... we did Scarlet Witch, right? The show. Right. Yeah, we did that. We did Falcon and the Winter Soldier. What came after that? We've done all the shows, right?
Yeah.
Have we ever said, have we ever tried, like, has this ever come up where we're trying to connect? Because again, I think it's an important piece of Marvel material, him twisting up how I'm just curious, or is this just my curiosity?
It gets my curiosity. I think it's also really like when you think, even if you think about it, like the way he describes it does make a certain amount of sense, right? Where it's like, you're this mercenary, you're sent to kill this dude or stop this dude by the government. He goes ape shit, almost kills you. You get pissed off. You take the super soldier serum, and you both smash up Harlem, and then you wake up at one day and
he's a hero.
And he's a hero, and you're like in jail.
Because if I remember, that fight was crazy. The Incredible Hulk, took a car. Can you imagine if you're still paying off the car?
Yeah,
you look out the window. Because the superheroes were fairly new in the universe at that time, right?
Yeah, Tony shows up like very briefly, right? In Hulk.
I think at the end.
In the middle, I thought. Isn't it like the not action? Doesn't he like give Ross like a weapon or something?
Wow, that's amazing.
I do not remember what
See,
Tony
like
does. He's
that,
in
I
the
feel
movie
like
very briefly.
very
That I
briefly.
remember.
So yeah, so I'm pretty sure at that point there's no superhero insurance. So,
Definitely not in New York, because remember, Tony is West Coast based in
yes.
the MCU. So maybe in like Santa Monica, the Tony's neighbors are like, we need Iron Man insurance. Because that man's house gets
we
blown
just
up
need
not
Tony
once.
Stark insurance. It doesn't-
Like that man's house gets blown up, gets significantly damaged in 1, blown up in 2, blown up again in 3.
Right.
And it's like,
Yeah,
his
at
neighbors
this
in Santa
point,
Monica.
yeah, right. So he took the car, he smashed it, and he did what he did. So he was also complicit. This is almost on the level of no, it was not. It's not on the level of Man of Steel, wanton destruction, but
it's somewhere between like Man of Steel,
on the low end of Man of Steel.
Man of Steel / Sokovia, like which the Avengers like try to save everybody who's on the planet, the city, but they still drop a city, like you know, like it's like, and then to like I guess like unintended superhero, like superhero doing a legitimately good thing, but is like kind of weird that it's good. Like I like one of the things I like is like Cap dropping the Hellcarriers into the Potomac. Where it's like that's a legitimately good thing. Those Hellcarriers were going to kill a lot of people. It's not like he drops it on Washington D.C. He does not do that. It's in the Potomac, but he still drops.
But someone's job is to clean that.
And imagine you got that sweet, like National Harbor, like you just got this nice houseboat, and you're like, I've been saving for this. Joe Manchin's my neighbor. It's great, and then Cap drops that, they just like all your whole life's work is gone.
Oh man, so but that person is rich, so they're fine. I'm talking about the person in Harlem who's still paying up their car.
Yeah, that's true.
It looks out the window. The Hulk just used your car's boxing gloves. I would be so mad. You're not a hero. So yeah, when Blonsky says that, I can honestly think about that fight. I'm like, you know what? He's right. There's an injustice. And I think that's another reason why Jen calls Bruce, because if she's gonna have to take that case, she might say certain things, right? Because lawyers, it's not, she doesn't hate Bruce, or she doesn't, but she's gonna say some things. And if we're gonna make Bruce a hero, but Bruce was also complicit in the fight, why is this the only person getting punished for it? That's not a horrible thing to think about. But
Bruce led the gentrification not once but twice in New York City, smashing Harlem. And it's a whole plot point in the Daredevil TV show. The Avengers destroyed Hell's Kitchen. So Bruce twice,
because now those people who live there can't afford to live there anymore.
So that's why next time you're in New York City, and you go, it's like Hell's Kitchen. This isn't at all. Why is it called Hell's Kitchen? Daredevil's walking from the Bank of America to a Starbucks to a Pret while he's making sure that there's no criminal at the Pret. All right, he's the Pret up in the alley behind the Pret. All right, that's where bar would
forget the Starbucks. It's the Pret.
All right. And then over in the Citibank building that's in there. It's like,
yes. Oh man,
that's the Avengers' fault, ladies and gentlemen, because they
100%
crashed an alien spaceship.
Let's not talk about Africa. Let's not do that, because the whole city
it's about to get fucked up again in Wakanda forever. So.
Oh God. But they do save people, so
it's true. They are still better than Superman.
They're still way better than Superman because they save people. So let's not. Oh, but no. That was the only other thing I wanted to talk about was how she. I also want to know how she would build that case. I think that's going to be an interesting part of the show. So I do see your point about that case being woven through, like being the very, very subplot of all of the season, while it is the plot of this episode and maybe the plot of the next episode. I believe it will be a subplot, because Wong, Magic, Daredevil, New York City, that's a thing, and I'm interested in seeing all of that. Ooh, one more thing. So, Jessica Jones is coming back to MCU, right?
I mean, that's the rumor. That is 100% not been confirmed, though.
Dang. Okay. So the only person from Netflix that we know right now is
there's two. We know.
It's Charlie Cox and
Wilson Fisk, Vincent D'Onofrio. Yeah.
Okay.
I would not be surprised if the guy who plays Foggy comes back too.
No, I think he is.
I mean, why are you gonna recast Foggy?
And Karen is going. Is her name Karen? Was her name Karen?
Yeah, Karen Page.
Yeah.
Deborah. She does a bunch of D&D podcasts now.
Yeah, Deborah. Yeah, she was True Blood Girl.
Yeah, Deborah Wool, I think is her name.
Yeah. But I thought Frank Castle was coming back.
No, that was a misunderstanding. That was what's her name, the woman who is playing that Jedi girl from Clone Wars in live action, Rosario Dawson, misinterpreting something she read on the internet. She even came out and said that. Okay. So that's all. The only thing is confirmed.
Wilson Fisk, Daredevil.
And Daredevil.
Okay. All right.
Both in Echo and in Daredevil's television show.
Okay.
So.
All right. So I'm excited to see the rest of She-Hulk episode 2. I feel like this is the last week that we're going to be doing one show.
We're going to do 4 shows.
Yes,
next week.
Starting next week. Actually, because even though Game of Thrones, House of Dragon does come up on Sunday, we're doing it Monday.
Yes,
and then Wednesday is Andor.
Mm-hmm.
Thursday is what day is the second?
The second is Friday, I believe.
Wow. So
yeah, it's second. So it's Sunday / Monday is
House of
Dragons. Wednesday is Andor. She-Hulk Thursday. And then Friday Friday we get 2 hours of Lord of the Rings.
So a lot of content.
Yeah.
In the next couple of weeks.
I mean, that summer, I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Particularly because all the genre movies just got kicked out. There's nothing
kicked out of this. DC rearranged again.
They surrendered. They
surrendered. They did. But you know what I really, really learned? I learned they're so broke, right? They didn't have a lot of money to do marketing. And if you want to market a movie against Avatar,
But again, Mo, I said this the last time they moved. I think they moved. That movie's gonna make $4 billion, and it's gonna
just
kill me in my soul. It's gonna I'm not gonna see that movie.
Do you know Avatar is going back? The first one is going back in the theaters, just like Spider-Man is going back in the theaters in September.
Disney's just we need to print some money.
Yes.
Because I mean. The back half of the year, you want to be a Disney shareholder.
Yes.
It's Wakanda, re-release Spider-Man, re-release original Avatar.
Yes.
New Avatar. And then isn't there some Disney thing coming out in the December? One of their live action remakes or something.
Disney thing. It's so funny because Disney doesn't do Disney things anymore.
I feel like there's also some Disney thing.
I don't know. I might have to look into that. But yeah, so they have re-releasing Spider-Man, Wakanda, re-releasing Avatar 2. So $1 billion, so $4 billion. just don't because I don't know if Spider-Man is going to make $1 billion. It's probably going to make something close to
it just gets added, right? When they release Endgame, it's going to make
added into
$200 more million.
Yeah, it's going to get added into its year. Avatar, however, I think Avatar is being re-released, so it takes back the #1 spot from because that gets added to its totals, and then it's going to get adjusted for inflation. And then they're doing that so they can advertise Avatar 2 as the richest movie.
The highest grossing movie of all time.
Right.
Sequel.
That's literally what that is being done
and conveniently, when Kang Dynasty comes out in 2 years, they're gonna be like re-experience the Infinity Saga.
Yes.
And they'll put Infinity War and Endgame back in there, and then Endgame will be the #1 movie again. And they'll just do this every single time.
They can though, and they can. So yeah, I'm not mad at DC saying, Warner Brothers saying, look, we don't have money this year because we were trying to cut costs to save $3 billion and ended up going down $20 billion.
Lost $20 billion. We went to war with animation fans, Sesame Street fans, and DC fans all at one time.
In 2 weeks. How does that happen? I feel like in the next 5 years, some docu-series has the fall of Warner Brothers and DC, and it's gonna be narrated by Zack Snyder.
The same. But these are the again, Mo, you've been to Silver Spring, right, Maryland, which is where I live. So this used to be where Discovery was.
Yes,
and Discovery got Silver Spring to give them tax breaks and build this nice new headquarters over here. But then the current people who run Discovery Warners bought Discovery. And they hated that the headquarters of their company was in Silver Spring, Maryland, and not in Washington D.C. and not in L.A. So they just basically one day were like, you know what, we're leaving.
Wait, and Discovery left Silver Spring?
Yeah, there's a big ass sign that says Discovery. That building is empty, my friend. They are.
Wait, are the bikes still there?
It's all gone.
Because I used to love walking Discovery, and then you see the bikes from what's the bike show? Wow,
it's all gone. It's just there's a building that says Discovery on it. It's all gone.
So they're probably still getting the taxes. They're probably still getting
they're getting the taxes, but Silver Spring isn't getting that money that they were expecting.
I know.
Why we can afford to live here?
Because
they took the jobs,
right? Oh man, that's crazy. So yeah, they lost money, and they don't have money to advertise Shazam. They don't have money to market because they only have, if that's the case, they have one, and the Rock, right? He's marketable on himself. He will take every chance in life to talk about that movie, and he's the marketing tool, right? But Shazam,
he's a producer too, so he makes money with the movie.
Yes. and I think it's not just a DC movie. It's broken through a couple studios because he's producing it. Warner Brothers is producing it. Lionsgate. It's a sub studio, another DC subsidiary, Warner Brothers subsidiary, producing that. So yeah, it's probably gonna be broken. Marketing is probably gonna be broken up into that. Shazam, however, is a Warner Brothers DC movie. It's not a $7 production.
Starring well-known box office sensation Zachary Levi, the guy.
Right.
What was his show? Oh God, Jake? No. Ted? No. What was the name of that show?
Where he was a
secret agent guy
in his head. The nano chips in his head.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah, I don't remember. It was such a long time ago. But
Yeah,
so that guy. So move your movie after you get the tax cuts this year, use the money to market Shazam next year. Then they moved Shazam. They moved the Flash back and moved Aquaman up. I think that's how.
No, I thought it was the other way around. I thought it was now it's going to go Shazam. It's going to go whatever the order is between Black Adam and Shazam. Which one's first? Shazam?
No, Black Adam is definitely coming out.
All right, Black Adam, then Shazam, then Flash, then Aquaman. Because Aquaman's on the end of 2023. He's Christmas 2023.
That's funny because what I think was going on with Aquaman is done. It's ready to go. But because of what's going to probably happen in the Flash, that's what's going to influence. They're going to reshoot a little bit of Aquaman to make that.
Well, have you heard the rumors about the ending of Aquaman? Apparently the ending of Aquaman originally was Michael Keaton as Batman.
Yeah, I heard Jackson. I heard that was Ben Affleck.
But then when they moved it forward before the Flash, they asked Ben Affleck. They paid Ben Affleck some ridiculous amount of money. Maybe it's what paid for his wedding to J-Lo. To come back and basically film the same scene that Michael Keaton was in,
Right.
but with Batfleck because Michael Keaton isn't around yet.
Mhm.
But now they've moved it to the point where Michael Keaton will
Will
possibly
be
be Batman,
so they're probably
or
gonna
not. I
use
mean,
his right.
but at the same time, now Ben Affleck is making noises about being willing to stay on as Batman.
I hope not. I hope not,
So-
man. Just enjoy your marriage, bro.
His
No,
life,
seriously.
life is good. If I was Ben Affleck, it's got to be the
You
poison
really-
chalice, man. Like, do
Yeah,
you really want
these
this back in your
problems
life?
again? Like, no, man. Ultimately, I am excited for next week's episode of She-Hulk.
Me too.
This happened because we were talking about our schedule coming up.
Our
and that's-
huge schedule. So
yeah, that's gonna be
if
crazy.
you love Roy and Mo shows,
Yeah,
it's gonna be nonstop.
nonstop for a week. So come on
Like,
and
yeah.
chat with us. Like, thank you, Roy, again for taking the time. I know it's a little later than I would have liked. You would have also liked. But no, thank you very much for taking the time. I really appreciate it. Tell your wife I said thank you. Because yeah, that's really who I think makes this possible.
It definitely does. She makes everything possible.
Okay. Yeah, so thank you again. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Like, share, and subscribe.
Smash.
Smash.
Yeah,
Smash right and smash left. I still cannot believe they made a Tinder profile. They went all out for this. They really did, and I like that.
I hope they got rewarded.
Yes. I hate the fact it's getting review bombed. I feel like it did get review bombed again this week, and I also feel like a lot of reviewers. I saw what's his name, the guy, the right wing guy who does
Quartering guy.
The one who
guy. Joe
the
Rogan,
one no, the one who
Peterson.
the one who was like WAP is not a good song that he does.
Ben Shapiro.
Ben
That
Shapiro,
guy?
yes.
Oh my
that
God,
guy.
Ben Shapiro has a quote of. Oh, I gotta look that quote up.
Yes,
Like,
about She-Hulk. I
my
was
God.
gonna screenshot it to the chat, but I got distracted.
You gotta send that to me, Mo, if you know what it is.
I'll find it.
Please do.
It's
Like,
woke garbage.
it's just like Ben Shapiro, the man. Okay, I'm sorry. We got. I know we gotta end this, but you should watch the video of this man, Ben Shapiro, reading the lyrics to WAP to his conservative audience in his like dry ass conservative white man voice. That's just like, it is art. It is performance art of the highest level.
Oh man, this is crazy. This week is really crazy because there's She-Hulk, and then there's people talking about She-Hulk and conservatives, and then the president did what he did. So like now it's like they just have a lot to talk about. They could talk about She-Hulk, they could talk about the president. They have content.
Well, there's content because so She-Hulk's not going away.
Right.
We're gonna get Andor, which apparently has strong political themes.
Right.
That they keep saying this. That's gonna be like the Breaking Bad of Star Wars. We have black Valerians in House of Dragons. Then we're gonna have black Gondorians in Lord of the Rings. So it's just like
and it's
the MCU
and the female
neckbeards.
protagonist. Yo, it's
gonna stop, my friend.
So
It's just
fun.
It's not gonna stop. Your YouTube algorithm is gonna get even more toxic than it already is.
No, because I've never in my life searched Ben Shapiro, never for any reason, and for him to pop up because I typed in She-Hulk and he popped up. Yes,
First mistake, Mo. First mistake. It's not a mistake, my friend.
For an intro, I was looking for an intro for the show.
I have it perfect here. You know what's not a mistake, my friend?
What?
Smashing the like and subscribe button to Earth2 CC to get the hot takes.
Not
every week.
Not the woke garbage ones.
Yes, notoriously unwoke. Earth2 CC.
I appreciate it, man. We'll catch you next week.
Wow! Jesus, what the hell, man?
Still in control and the overwhelming feelings of rage.
No! A normal amount of rage!
You do revert back to Gen form when you sleep.
Was the air horn really necessary?